YouTube, what's happening? Back at you with another video. Now, I just got through watching the new reboot of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, aka Bel-Air. And if you don't know, I made a reaction to the trailer about a month ago. So if you want to know my initial thoughts and my reaction to that trailer, definitely go check it out. But I wanted to talk about my reaction to the first episode, and I kind of want to give a recap of it. My thoughts are going to be really unconcise. I didn't write anything down. I'm literally like 2 minutes removed from it. So without further ado, let's get into it. First thing I want to say is that this show, because I didn't even watch episode 2, this show has literally exceeded all my expectations. And in fact, none of the previous characters from the original Fresh Prince or the original Bel-Air Fresh Prince, whatever, none of those characters creeped into my mind at all. I feel like each and every character, you know, each and every actor on the show, each and every character stood on their own, if you get what I'm saying. Every single character on this show is distinct, and they have their own element that they bring that feels important with each of them, because obviously this is a series, so everything is going to go on, and we're going to learn more and more and more about these characters. Jabari Banks, real quick, I take my hat off to Jabari Banks, bro, because this kid, this guy, acting skills on point. I was totally invested in his origin story to the point where, you know, I didn't shed a tear, but I was getting emotional for him after the whole altercation happened on the basketball court, which, you know, this just goes to show that when you're somebody who's, you know, on to bigger and better things, there's always going to be somebody that's going to hate on you, and there's always going to be somebody that's going to want to bring you down to their level and don't want to see you succeed. But when he went to jail, it was so real, because innately, like, at heart, he's a good kid. Like, it's just, you know, he got caught up in the moment. But generally, you take a good kid like him and then you put them in jail, the first thing you're going to do is cry, because you're not built for that environment. And I was like, man, his relationship with his mom, like, they look alike. Like, honestly, like, Jabari Banks and the actress that played his mom, they actually look alike. So they actually look like mother and son to me, and I felt like their relationship just had so much substance. It's like I couldn't help but just be 100% zeroed in, and that's hard for a lot of new shows to do. Like, a lot of new shows, you know, whether it's anime or whatever, most shows can't hold my attention, but this show held my attention from start to finish. It's like, initially I was like, okay, all right, let's see what it's about, but then as it went on, I just, you know, just really got just enamored and enthralled into the world that is now known as Bel-Air. My favorite character outside of you know, Will, or, you know, Jabari Banks, obviously. Woo! And I never thought I'd ever say this in real life, but when I tell you, Aunt Viv, I mean, the old Aunt Viv was beautiful, right? The original Aunt Viv and the new Aunt Viv, right? But the new Aunt Viv, all I gotta say is she just, because mind you, when he first gets to Bel-Air and then he walks into the mansion, I didn't even know who she was. I didn't know that was Aunt Viv. I was like, what? Like, is she like a guest and she's just opening the door? I was like, who is she? And then I was like, oh shit, that's Aunt Viv? I was like, yo, she is bad. Like, you know, Uncle Phil, I might have to, you know, shoot my shot at Aunt Viv. I might have to scoop up Aunt Viv, because she's the best looking woman on that show. Like, damn, like, I just, like, her face, her hair, her skin, her just, damn. So I honestly, a lot of these episodes, if not for Jabari, I'm really just gonna be watching Bel-Air to, you know, marvel at the beauty that is the new Aunt Viv. Another character that I liked on the show, what's his name? The new Jeffrey. this guy is like, they need to get this guy to be James Bond. Like, if they're looking for a black James Bond, they need to get this guy, because he's like a secret agent. Like, this guy, like, he works for Uncle Phil, the new Uncle Phil, but this guy is like a Secret Service agent, like behind the scenes or some shit. Like he's just this guy, like he knows everything. Like, he just looks like, I don't know, like he's got all the secrets, all the answers. He knows everything. Like, this guy just has this persona and seriousness about him that it's just like, you know, something's gonna happen with Jeffrey, you know, like just down the line. Like, he's just very serious, and he just has this debonair, like, just air about him that it just works. Like, he just has that James Bond feel appeal. If not James Bond himself, he has to be in the next James Bond, where they get the next black James Bond in it, you know, something like that. The new Uncle Phil, you know, I like him. You know, I like the new Uncle Phil. And I think what I really liked about him that kind of came out is the fact that anybody who watched the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will always, it's like Will, he liked Uncle Phil, but at the same time, he didn't really appreciate, like, what he had. Meaning, you know, when he got to Bel-Air, it's like, yeah, I'm here, but, like, I don't really care to be here. Or he didn't really see them as his family. Like, he just looked at them as relatives. If anybody, you know, saw, you know, the final episode, you know, Will told Uncle Phil, he was like, yo, you know, when I first came to Bel-Air, you know, you guys were just, you know, my relatives, but, you know, at the end of it all, you guys became my family. And obviously, you know, right now, they're just his relatives, and he could really give a damn to, you know, be there. If he could catch the flight back to Philly, you know, he would. And obviously, he's not somebody that really knows the value of family just yet, because he's been an only child. It was just, you know, him and his mom. And now he went from that to having to deal with a family dynamic where the things that you do, the choices that you make, the decisions that you make are going to affect other people. It's just like, you know, when he was going to sneak back to Philly, that was going to affect other people, you know, particularly Uncle Phil. So I feel like as their relationship grows, I feel like his character will get an opportunity to shine more, because I think, you know, right now it's like we don't really know him, you know what I'm saying? And him and Jeffrey have like this very serious, you know, thing about him, about them. I think that, you know, Jeffrey, I'll kind of take that serious vibe from him. It's new, it's different, but with Uncle Phil, I want to see that other side. And I think that kind of started to come out when he caught Will, and then he brought him back in the house and then asked him, like, yo, do you care about living or dying? Carlton, I think I'm really willing to say that he is my least favorite character so far. And the thing is, I actually loved Carlton on the Fresh Prince. This new Carlton, he's got a little bit of Pookie from New Jack City in him. Like, at first I was like, okay, you know, he's rich, he's privileged, you know, he plays for the lacrosse team, he's a little bit of an Oreo, but come to find out, this dude is just a flat out coon. Like I'm watching this dude, and I feel like, you know, if like Dr. Umar Johnson is like rolling around in his sleep right now, because this guy is like legit a straight up Oreo coon. Like, and honestly, I think another thing too, what I really like about Fresh Prince is that, and I think even more so now, because, you know, the show is gonna have like a really serious, you know, vibe to it. The show tackles different subjects that are important, and I feel like one thing that they touched on in this episode was the use of the N-word. Now, you could also check out my other video about the Joe Rogan podcast, or the Racist Rogan podcast, and his use of the N-word, and you'll kind of know my take on it. But my response and my take is just the same as Will's take on it, which is basically nobody, you know, who's non-black should be using the N-word. And this guy Carlton was just like, it's just a word, and I was just like, yo, this guy's a straight up coon, but he represents a certain demographic of black people in real life. Like, there are black people who are out there like that, and they don't have any sort of self-respect no matter what environment that they're in. And if they could try to disassociate themselves from being black in the form of taking disrespect from their peers, they will do that. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, as of right now, his character, you know, the character of Carlton does not see himself as a black man, and he probably thinks he's a white boy who just happens to be black on some, like, you know, Uncle Ruckus from, you know, the Boondocks shit, to be honest with you. Hillary, you know, yeah, she's really ditzy, does an Instagram live thing. She's a stylist, a chef, a cook. I mean, I'd just be more interested to see more of her character, because I didn't really get much from her other than, like, just being just the ditzy kind of, you know, girl, and it didn't really, you know, interest me whatsoever. I think the original Hillary, and I'm only making this comparison, you know, just for the sake of it, but the original Hillary, she was ditzy, but it was funny, it was entertaining. This one, she's just like that for the sake of being like that. I feel like out of everybody, she's the only one that, like, I know that I get that there are probably women out there who are like that, but her character kind of didn't really seem that realistic to me. I was just kind of like, yeah, like, you look like you're acting. Everybody else is kind of good, but like her, she just looked like she was acting. Bel-Air is going to stand on its own as its own thing, and I pretty much predicted that in my reaction, because I still see a lot of people making comparisons to the original, and clearly it's not the same thing. And it's good that Will Smith, like the real Will Smith, didn't come into my mind when I was watching Jabari Banks. When I was watching Jabari, I was just processing him as a, you know, his own standalone original character. Like, honestly, like, if I didn't know any better, I would think that this was an original show. It wouldn't have struck me as a reboot, and that's great. Another thing that I liked was that they paid tribute to the original short film of Bel-Air, the pitch film, where he was sitting on the throne and he had the crown and the sunglasses, and I was like, word, you know, Morgan Cooper, you know, should be really happy, because what he initially set out to do actually came into fruition, and he was able to manifest that. And the thing is, even though that I've seen Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and we kind of know the story, if you know the whole series, all 6 seasons, we can't predict what's going to happen, because this is his own thing. You know, you have Will, who, you know, unknowingly, you know, started to holler at, you know, Carlton's ex. And, you know, after Carlton is doing crack and Xanax and weed and cocaine and freebase and doing all types of drugs and sitting there, you know, completely high and inebriated, he starts to hallucinate, and then really, you know, goes to attack, you know, his own damn family over a girl. So, like, and literally any guy that's watching this, you know that you don't ever fight another dude over a girl. Like, so really, Carlton is like the ultimate sucker. I hope, you know, Jabari beats the shit out of him, and, you know, but I think even from that, I know that their friendship will grow from this, because at the end of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know, Will and Carlton, they were like this. You know, they were, you know, really close. Like, they were actually brothers. Like, they were cousins, but by the end of it all, they became brothers. Like, yeah, Will, you know, used to crack on him, and Carlton, you know, had his reservations about Will and used to kind of talk down on him and things like that. But their friendship is going to grow from this. I mean, her name is Lisa. I'd be surprised if she stayed around, you know, longer than that, because, you know, Will, back in the day in the original Fresh Prince, you know, he had all the girls, so I expect him to have other love interests, because frankly, you know, I mean, this chick, words of Kevin Samuels, she's about like a 6 out of 10. So I was just thinking, like, that's her. I was like, really? You know, they could have gotten him a prettier chick than that. I'm sorry, they could have gotten a prettier chick than that. You know, they could have got a girl that, like, how does like Aunt Viv look better than the love interest on the show? But anyway, so those are pretty much my thoughts on episode 1. I didn't watch episode 2 just yet, because I, you know, had these thoughts. I wanted to make a video about this. Again, if you haven't seen, you know, Bel-Air, watch Bel-Air. You know, take it from me, I'm a guy that I don't really like to watch, you know, like the newest shows and, you know, all this other types of stuff, but obviously because, you know, Will Smith is attached to it, you know, this is a masterpiece. So shout out to Will Smith, shout out to Jabari Banks, man. It was just mad motivating to see him, you know, doing his thing, you know, really working the craft and just killing it. I'm telling you, like, out of everybody, Jabari is like the standout actor. Like, he really shines on the show, and I'm excited, you know, just as a fellow actor, just to see him grow and, you know, become, you know, bigger than what he is. So with that said, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Good luck.